What's up guys, Triple C here. Today we're going to be doing the stunt test with the new car with the Overflod AUTARCH. And the reason why this video is so late, I had a lot of people asking in the comments when I'm going to be doing the stunt test, is because I was on vacation, so I couldn't record any new footage during that time. I'm actually back now, just got from the airport basically, and we're going to be doing the stunt test with this car to determine whether it's good for stunt racing or certain stunt racing situations or not. And now, like always, this is not about the general performance of the car, how it does on the track, how it does racing wise. It's really stunt specific. The types of stunts we're going to be testing them on. I'm going to be comparing it to the top cars for those types of stunts, so we have a direct comparison, and then also an overall review in the end, whether it is competitive in that sense or not. So yeah, just remember that this is only about the specific stunts, not about the racing performance. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, first up, like always, the regular container wall ride, and of course the car can wall ride. Any car can wall ride. We're going to be looking out for different stuff in here. First, which is subjective, how it feels on the wall. Everybody has their own preferences there. Then we're going to be looking how it reacts to the dummy proof, if it's being guided by the container or if it wants to drive up the dummy proof. And very important also the camera, if the camera will zoom in on the back of the car or if we will maintain a good camera view throughout the whole wall ride basically. That also gets really important in ascending wall rides later. So yeah, let's see how it goes up against the dummy proof here. Very nice actually. It didn't have a tendency, well wait, I just gotta get used to it. It's also very consistent with the steering, so no problem there at all. And surprisingly really well with the dummy proof, because a lot of these low cars, and also this got rear wheel drive and downforce, they often don't take the dummy proof very well. They have a tendency to want to go up the container, which is not good because you're not being consistently guided then. Wait, let's do it in the second lap here. I actually even hit it pretty hard there, the dummy proof. I just gotta get used to the steering. It's a downforce car, so the steering is always a bit different on the downforce. But yeah, very easy, very consistent. We also had a very good camera view throughout the whole way, so very promising up to now. Let's go into the next test. Alright, next up we got the steep ascending wall ride, and by the way, killer cornering ability here. But yeah, it's got a downforce. I don't know what the downforce multiplier is, but very good traction. Wait, I'll go slower there, I'll go from the respawn. Take a respawn here, was it this one? Yeah, that was the checkpoint respawn. And now this will be interesting to see because it is only rear wheel drive, and if you guys have been watching my stunt test, you know that rear wheel drive is always an issue on these things because the four wheel drive cars just do better on these types of stunts because they have all four wheels helping to get the car up there, and the two wheel drive cars, they lose that part. Yeah, we're losing the view. Okay, I did get around, but like, it didn't get as slow as I feared it would, because normally the two-wheel drive cars, they lose power on the steep ascending part because not all four wheels are helping getting it up there. And then that's also the point when they lose their camera view when they get slow. So we did have that occur. We did lose our camera view. I was blind there for a second. I kind of anticipated where I was driving, so I made it in the end. But all in all, better cars for this. Definitely better cars. Take a four-wheel drive car on steep ascending stuff like this, like T20, Osiris, Centorno, XA-21. Those cars would be much better, but got around nevertheless. Okay, next up, we're going to be testing the camera again. It's like a spiral to overhead wall ride to spiral down wall ride type of thing. And what we can also see in this stunt is the speed we're going to be exiting with, because the four-wheel drive cars, they fly pretty far at the end at the stunt exit, and the two-wheel drive cars do worse in that regard normally. So let's go and see what happens here. We probably will lose our camera view on this upside down part here. Yeah. But I know the stunts, I know where to go. And it was just slippery there, I saw. Now let's see how far we're gonna fly. Not very far. The four-wheel drive cars, they will land back here, you know, like where I'm standing now. So yeah, because of that two-wheel drive, we did lose speed on the stunt, and the camera was terrible. If I wouldn't have known where to go, I would have failed this. So unfortunately, fail on the camera view. Okay, next test again, very telling test here. I also tried to explain that in my previous stunt tests, but I also do it again just for clarification here. This is a red container spiral. I will be entering it at a very low speed to see if we develop the power and the traction to get up there, and how the steering will do, if I can really yank the steering hard and do harsh corrections. And you can draw a direct analogy to any other type of spiral, whether it be cunning stunt props or whatever, because often when you're going in these spirals blind and you don't know the race, you might have to make a correction, you know, because you might not have the perfect line. And that's when you want to have a car where you can really yank the steering and just pull it to the right or left and without the car spinning out. Also, if the respawn is close, or if you're losing speed on the stunt, you need the car to be able to grip into the spiral and really get up there and develop that traction. So that's what we're testing here. And like always, I'm going in with a low speed directly in front of the spiral to see if we develop that power going up there. So let's go. Struggling already. That's the two-wheel drive problem, unfortunately. Two-wheel drive does not develop that traction, that raw power to get up there. Four-wheel drive cars, I'll take a bit more of a run up. We will get it now probably. It's the other cars just accelerate up here, the four-wheel drive cars. This one doesn't. This one. Okay, wait. So now I got up there, and now on the way down, I will yank the steering as hard as I can when I'm upside down, so I will fall out now. What I'm just testing here is to see how easy the car spins out if you do have to make a harsh steering correction in the spiral, if the car will just make that correction, or if it will fail and spin out and you fall out of the stunt. So let's go and test this. Going up. It's so hard to show in the stunt test, but I felt it immediately that the car was just losing its track, basically, that wanted to go on that spin. So that's also a thing we often get with the two-wheel drive cars. Spinning it again. Yeah, no, it's jumpy there. You know, it's like the same thing if I do this with a two-wheel drive car. They will go in the spin very easily, you know? And that's what you also see in the spiral. A four-wheel drive car will maintain its traction there. Zentorno, in my opinion, is still the best car for this. Osiris XA-21, also very good. T20 is a bit slippery sometimes, but also very good car for this. But yeah, all in all, as expected with a two-wheel drive car, really not the best type of car for this type of stunt. Now, if you're quick and you know your line, then you'll be good, you know? You might lose some speed in the stunt in comparison to other cars, but all in all, you will do fine if you know your line. But then again, if you want to take a two-wheel drive car or a downforce car, there's still better cars for this, like the Wagner, for example. It is just a quicker car, also on the track. So all in all, not recommended at all. Much better cars for this. And like I said, even if you want to go with a car like this one, with a downforce car, two-wheel drive car, also not the best. Then we got cars like the Wagner, which will still do better than this one. So yeah. Okay, next up we got the crab slide. There's three types of cars in this game. The cars that in the crab slide will stay on its side and just keep on sliding, that's a good thing. Then you have cars that roll over on their roof and do like a complete roll, that's also a good thing. Oops. And then you got cars which just fall back on the wheels, which you basically cannot work with as a creator. You can't build any type of stunt with that. And yeah, let's go and see how it does. We're at the stunt already here. You can see the dummy proof here. Went up that container. I had a tendency to go back on its side, but also I hit it very hard there. Here you can see, yeah, it wants to go on. It wants to go on its wheels again. So maybe a short slide it will connect, but on a longer slide, it will fall back on its wheels. Like the cars that really stay on their side consistently, Adder, Infernus, Tempesta, those really stay on their side. In the sports class, it's the Verlierer that stays on its side. But this one, unfortunately, not. You can't really incorporate it in stunts like this. So yeah, fail on the crab slide. Okay guys, last and final test, like always, Freaky League's Huge Loop Racing number 3. Now there's only very few cars in the game that can get around this loop because it's so huge, and it's mostly all four-wheel drive cars. Zentorno, Tempesta, P20 Osiris XA-21, XA PROTO, cars like these. I think it's only 7 or 8 cars in the whole game that can even make this loop. And this is also where the two-wheel drive cars, where they do bad. Cars that might be... Wait, let me take respawn here. Yeah, we've gone from the respawn, so everybody has the same starting point, basically. And this is like where a Wagner or an RE7B is incredibly quick around the track. Like, they're so quick cars, but they will not make this loop. They will not get up there because they only have two-wheel drive, and not all 4 wheels are helping to get the car up there. Where you can also draw a direct analogy to cutting stunts. You know, if you have a lot of ascending stuff, going up tubes, going up these stunt props, then you need 4-wheel drive to maintain that power. I mean, it doesn't have to be a loop, you know, just let this be ascending here. You will lose speed on all the other cars, and whereas 4-wheel drive cars will just maintain their power getting up there. As you saw, we failed. This is actually, according to Grotti, one of the quickest cars around the track. I think it's in the top 5, he said. Not as quick as the Wagner or RE7B, but almost all the way up there. But still, it will not do good on anything ascending, you know. And just imagine this was a kind of stunt race that we were just, like, with random props going up, or with tubes, or whatever, you know, like anything. It would just not do good. So yeah, all in all, I suspected this already, that it wouldn't make it, because the two-wheel drive cars never... I'll go with like a really big run-up, even though this is a fail already, because we're always testing them from the respawn. So that's our criteria, can it make it from the respawn or not. Try and go in quicker and see if we can still somehow get around, but you get the gist of it, you know, like, all in all, I'll draw the conclusion already. In terms of stunt racing, there's better cars for any situation. Like, we didn't have one situation where it did really good. Like, in every situation we were in, there would have been a better car for that situation. And now if you end up in very generic type of races, which are not very flip specific, which just have some easy big wall rides or easy big spirals, or something that doesn't require a specific car to get through the stunt, then there's still better cars, you know, like you'll do better with the Wagner because it is also quicker around the track than with this car, even though it does feel very nice and it is all the way up there with the quick cars, but it just lacks that little bit that the other cars like the Wagner, for example, has. So all in all, I don't think I'll be using it a lot, you know. I might mess around with it on walls and see how I do on wall rides with it, even though I don't really like downforce on wall rides. It's not my thing at all. And for that price, how much was it? I think 2 million, and the Wagner is even cheaper than that. So if you want to go with a generic car for generic stunt races, still better cars like the Wagner, for example, and anything specific, as you saw, we're not going to do well in this car. But just stick to your 4-wheel drive cars, your go-to cars, you know what they are. Zentorno, Osiris T20, XA-21, the 4-wheel drive beasts, you know, they're best for stunt races in most regards. So yeah, I hope it could help you guys out. Nevertheless, still a fun car, but just not your go-to car for stunt races at all. Much better cars for that. So yeah, I hope I could help you guys make a decision whether to buy it. Sorry again that the upload was so late, but as I said, I was on vacation and I wasn't home, so I couldn't buy it yet. I'm just fresh out from the airport, just back home, directly uploading this video for you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm out. Peace!